What is up, YouTube? Welcome to PanFro Games, and in today's video, we're going to be showcasing the best locations to shiny hunt all the Pokemon in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet Part 2, numbers 100 to 200. If you haven't seen the previous episode, we cover 1 to 100. Definitely check out that link, and of course, we'll have episodes 3 and 4 up very soon as well on the channel. And of course, guys, you like this type of content, please leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and come support the PanFro Games channel by becoming a channel member today by hitting that join channel button below. Now, of course, there's some things you want to do before starting any of these shiny hunts, so definitely listen to the following tips as they're going to definitely increase your shiny odds. Now, there's a couple things you want to do before trying to shiny hunt every Pokemon in the game. Step 1, you're going to want to get the shiny charm. You get the shiny charm by catching all 400 Pokemon in the game. And some of them are version exclusive, so they're going to be rather difficult. But you can catch these, of course, by going online and doing raids, or going online and doing mystery trades, or going online and doing certain trade codes to get certain exclusive Pokemon by trading your own exclusive Pokemon for them. My second tip is to get a Masuda Ditto. Now, what is a Masuda Ditto? Essentially, it's a Ditto that is a different language than the game that you're playing in. So as an example here, I have a Japanese Ditto. Now, if this Japanese Ditto breeds with any of my English Pokemon, I'll be able to get an additional shiny roll. It doesn't need to be Japanese. It can be Chinese, Korean, Italian, Spanish, German, whatever languages are covered in the game. As long as it's a different language than the Pokemon I'm breeding with, then you're going to be good to go. So Japanese Dittos are pretty sought after, or just any Masuda ones. And this is pretty much how you're going to be doing the starter Pokemon, right? So my Fuecoco's in English, and then we got this Ditto right here, then we're going to have a higher chance of getting a shiny Pokemon. Now, how do we get a Masuda Ditto? We're going to follow the trade code on the screen here, and the code is going to be 448448, and you want to trade a Ditto of your own game with someone else's Ditto, and you'll be able to see in the trade screen if they have a Ditto of a different language or not. Another tip is to have a level 100 Pokemon that has False Swipe. False Swipe makes it so the Pokemon that you hit it with will only go down to 1 HP. You'll never actually knock it out, which makes catching a lot easier. So I just recommend False Swipe with something like a Gallade or a Breloom. What I like about Gallade is it has the moves Thunder Wave and Hypnosis. However, Breloom has Spore. So you can make both. It's easy to make both of these Pokemon, and you get the move False Swipe from Jocks when you're completing your Pokedex. And lastly, we're going to be needing a lot of sandwich materials. So if you go to Lavencia, you can actually find every single sandwich material here. So going from the back Pokemon Center, this shop sells food materials. And then up the street from the Pokemon Center, this shop sells a lot of the materials as well. And then when we go across the town here, from the other Pokemon Center at the entrance of the town, there's 2 more places right here, one to the right and one over here. And this is going to give you pretty much every single food item and picks that you'll need to make your sandwiches for these upcoming shiny hunts. Next up is Mareep, and we're going to the Bug City Gym with a town reset with an electric type sandwich. And it's just easiest to do a town reset here. As you can see, we get Mareep clusters, and you can hunt the entire shiny line here by getting 3 shiny Mareep. Next is Petilil, which is a really difficult hunt to do. However, there is a good reset spot here. So we're going to Ice Ren Shrine on the west side of the map, and we're pretty much going right in between this dirt patch and this grass patch. And you want to be about right where I am. And in this flower patch over here, you can see that Petilil's responding with a grass type sandwich, and we're just going to picnic reset about from this distance away. The reason why you want to be this far away, so if you're a little bit too close to the grass, you will get Skidoos falling off from the top of the mountain there, and that's going to hurt your Petilil odds. I do recommend running up to each Petilil just to check their eyes. Fortunately, there is not a good spot to hunt for Shroomish or Breloom naturally, so you're going to have to do a grass type sandwich and do an outbreak reset. In West Province Area 3, I'd like to do it around this zone because you do get some natural Shroomish spawns here as well. And for Breloom, you're just better off trying to catch a second Shroomish instead of trying to hunt for Breloom itself. Now for Applin, which you have a phenomenal exploit for, we're going to be in Tag Tree Thicket with a Dragon type sandwich. Now you're going to need a big auto battle Pokemon in the front. I'm using Walking Wake, but you can use like the box legendaries or Gyarados. And as you can see here, we have an Applin in the tree already, which means it's perfect. So what we're going to do is we're going to be right here in front of the Team Starbase at this tree. And we're just going to run our ride Pokemon into the tree. Applin's going to fall out. We're going to hit the Applin with an auto battle. And then we're going to walk back to the tree. And then the Applin is going to fall down forever. And eventually one's going to be shiny. And our auto battle Pokemon will not take out the shiny because that doesn't happen in auto battle. And that will guarantee us the shiny. So you want to do this 3 times to get the full family. Spoink and Grumpig can be isolated shiny hunt in North Province Area 2. The best locations can be right over here. So just south of the Fire Shrine. And by using a Psychic type sandwich, you can actually climb up on this ridge right here. So see the path coming up to this ridge. You just want to go right over here, and then you can do a picnic reset on this rock. And you can get up to 2 to 3 spawns of the Spoink Grumpig groups. And 3 groups is going to be 15 spawns. Outside of Lavencia, you can use a normal type sandwich and a town reset to hunt for Squawkabilly in all the different forms. You're just going to go inside, back outside, and the shiny is going to be the pink pompadour on top, so it's going to be very easy to notice. You do sometimes get a tandem mouse spawning in, but they're going to be pretty rare in general, so I wouldn't count on using this spot for those guys. Next up is Misdreavus, and this can only be caught in Pokemon Violet as its version exclusive. We're going to be right across the river from the Bug City Gym at this pond with a ghost type sandwich, and at this location you can do a picnic reset for shiny Misdreavus, and I do recommend getting to an evolving one. Of course, you can always do a mass outbreak as well because it's a very common mass outbreak that may be easier for you to do. Makuhita and Hariyama can easily be shiny hunted at the east side of the mountain over at the watchtower. You're gonna get a bunch of spawns, and you know you can do a picnic reset here near the tower, but of course I actually just like walking around because you get cluster spawns of both the Makuhita with the Hariyamas here. And it's a relatively chill hunt, and this should be fast and easy for you guys. Next up is Crabrawler, and I think it's easiest to use a fighting type sandwich over at the Mountains Grass location. And we're gonna be right on the edge of the grass, right over here. And you will get 15 spawns here of a fighting type sandwich, and I recommend catching 2. And when you're right next to this rock right over here in the grass, we can move up a little bit forward. You can do a picnic reset to get another set of 15 spawns. Salandit and Salazzle can be shiny hunted over here right on this spot. We're gonna be using a fire type sandwich. This is right outside of the cave area, and pretty much this is just like right above the ocean, the entrance we're taking in. So once you have your fire type sandwich, you can already see we're getting cluster spawns of Salandit and Salazzle, and we want to climb up this hill over here. Of course, you can run around the cave and hunt this. However, there is a pretty decent reset spot. And you want to like be in the back over here, and you're going to do a picnic reset. And with this picnic reset, you're able to get 3 whole spawn groups, so you can get the full 15 spawns. You're going to need to mess around a little bit and find the best spot that works for you. Next up is Phanpy and Donphan, and the best way to do it is go to Porto with a ground type sandwich, and we're going to do a cliff reset. So we're right on the cliff, right above the town over here, and you can see that there's a bunch of Donphans, 3 full families right here. And we're just gonna go to the port, walk back out, do the town reset, and then you're gonna have another triple spawn. They can spawn all the way to your right, all the way to your left as well over there, so make sure to pan the camera. Now at East Zapuhico, we can hunt for Q-Funt here, and with a steel type sandwich you can do a town reset. It's not an isolated hunt, but because they have clusters, they pretty much take over the entire zone, which is pretty nice. And you can get 2 to 3 clusters. We actually just got a shiny Q-Funt right here as well, which is pretty awesome. However, if you're not a fan of this spot, it's not an isolated spot, but you can go to the watchtower here and take the watchtower path up and down the mountain, and you will get cluster spawns of Q-Funt and Copper Aja. However, you'll also get Breloom and Revaroom clusters as well, so that's like a dual type hunt there too. Next is Gible and Goodbye, and I recommend going down to Research Area 4 in Area 0 by using a Dragon type sandwich. You can run around, you'll get clusters of these guys, of families, but you also get Zwelos, and sometimes you may get a random shiny. Zwelos is doing this as well if you are in Pokemon Scarlet. Of course, you'll get a different version exclusive if you are in Violet. But you can still get Gible and Gabite and Violet by doing this. Just running around Research Area 4 with a Dragon type sandwich, and you'll eventually get one. Next up is the Knackley line, and we're going to be going to the Mountain Watchtower area with a Rock type sandwich. And if you do a picnic reset right in front of the Mountain Watchtower, you'll be able to get triple spawns of them. However, if you just walk around this path here, you're going to be getting spawns in front of you and behind you while you're running around. I do think this is going to be overall faster and less tedious of a hunt if you do to run around on this path. I do think this is going to be the best area to get the entire full family instead of just going down to area 0 for the final form of this Pokemon. Now for Wingull and Pelipper, I recommend doing a flying type sandwich at the Inlet Grotto in the beginning of the game. And here you'll get pretty much only Wingulls spawning, which is going to be really awesome and nice. And you could do a picnic reset, or you could like run into the cave, despawn them by going a far distance away, come back, and you get a whole bunch of them coming back in. Next is Magikarp, and unfortunately there is no place to isolate hunt for Magikarp, so I do recommend making a water type sandwich and doing a mass outbreak reset until you get a Magikarp outbreak. And probably around Mesagoza is going to be a phenomenal place to get one of those in general, because you don't want to necessarily do it at the ocean because there's going to be way too many water types in general that could spawn. So you probably want to do in the freshwater areas where it's going to be a little bit easier to get the Magikarp outbreak. Now for Gyarados, you can actually isolate shiny hunt with a flying type sandwich. And we're going to be going just north of the Garcia Stones on this rock with a flying type sandwich. And as you can see, we have a crap ton of Gyaradoses, and you can actually do a picnic reset on this rock over here. You're gonna have to find a pretty good spot to picnic reset, but pretty much right here is always gonna work for you. And it's gonna be very obvious to get a shiny Gyarados. It's gonna be red, so good luck and happy hunting to you. Next is Arrokuda and Barraskewda, and both of these, unfortunately, you cannot isolate shiny hunt. So I recommend resetting with a water type sandwich to get an outbreak. Now they do spawn in fresh water, so you could potentially get these in an outbreak in any of these freshwater areas instead of going over to the ocean, because there's way more water types that spawn out in the ocean, so it'll be easier for you to get the outbreak if you're resetting near rivers or big bodies of water within the land. And next is Basculin, and once again, another mono water type, meaning we don't have a way to isolate shiny hunt this thing, unfortunately, so you're gonna have to do a water type sandwich mass outbreak reset in freshwater areas. Now it can appear throughout the entire map, so I just recommend probably going to any freshwater river and just hanging out on the river and then doing the mass outbreak reset, and hopefully you'll get it. To note, Basculin does have 2 different forms, and they're not too easy to tell on their shiny, so good luck to you on that. Next up is Gulpin and Swalot in Pokemon Violet, and we're going to be doing a poison type sandwich, and there's 2 decent spots to hunt this thing. One is being Arcezone West, where you can do a town reset, and you'll be only getting Gulpins appearing. However, they appear throughout this area. It's not necessarily easiest to see them all. So if you don't want to do this and you actually want to straight up go for Swalot, I will actually recommend that you head over to the Lake Zone. If with a poison type sandwich, you'll be getting clusters of the Gulpins and Swalots. However, it's not an isolated shiny hunt. You will be getting Croagunks and Toxicroaks as well. So keep that in mind if you want to hunt over here as well. But if you want a truly isolated hunt, then yes, you can just do a town reset at Arcezone West, a poison type sandwich, and you could potentially get it here too. Next up is Meowth in Persian, and I think the best place to do this is going to be the Porto, but right on the lighthouse side, and we're using a normal type sandwich. And you can actually do a town reset right here. So if you're looking at the town, you touch this part of the grass, and you see the Porto, and then you're going to go right back out. And this is unfortunately not an isolated shiny hunt, but it is mostly going to be Meowth. So I do highly recommend it, as you're going to be getting Meowth to your left and to your right. Sometimes you do get some Tandemouths, and sometimes some of these Meowths are going to be Dittos as well. But I think this is going to be a pretty decent spot overall to do a quick and easy reset. And as you can see, you get a good amount of spawns from here. They don't all spawn in immediately because they are single spawns, but this is going to be a great area to get your pink cat. Next is Drifloon and Drifbloom, and you can do this with a ghost type sandwich at night only in Pokemon Scarlet. And I'm at the normal type city gym. We're going to be doing a town reset. As you can see, I got a bunch of clusters right over here, and just walk into the town, walk back right back out, and with a ghost type sandwich, you'll be able to get clusters and some individual spawns. The shinies for these are going to be very obvious too, so this would be a relatively easy shiny hunt. Next up is Flappe, and the best spot for this is going to be just south of the Ice Wren Shrine, pretty much just south of where the Flying Titan was. And we're going to be standing right in between where the grass and the dirt areas touch on the map, and we're doing a fairy type sandwich. And there's one patch of flowers right here that will guarantee spawn the Flappes in a nice cluster. It can be hard to see them, but this does work during the day or nighttime. And the cool thing is, you know, they will gather around you if you walk up to them. So you can just hang out, look at each one in first person mode. The shiny can be a little bit hard to see, but you can get every single flower shiny here too. So good luck with this shiny hunt. Next up is Floette and Florges, and the best place to hunt these is gonna be North Province Area 3. You can do in the flower fields anywhere here, but I like the flower fields on this side in between the two rocks here. And you actually get all 15 spawns here, and you can just do a picnic reset and get all the different flowers. It's gonna be hard to see them though, to see that shiny, so I do recommend walking up to each individual cluster and just looking if you can see the shiny yourself. As you can see, we got the clusters popping up here left and right, so good luck with this hunt. Next is going to be Diglett and Dugtrio, and we're going to be using a ground type sandwich and going into this cave right over here. Now I'll say if you're in Pokemon Violet, this does work a lot better, but your goal is to sit on this side of the cave and then look over here where those guys are going to be spawning and then doing a picnic reset. Now there's other places you could potentially hunt for Diglett and Dugtrio, but I really like this spot because it's isolated in Violet and you only got to worry about Larvitars and Scarlet, and the spawns are always going to be 15. Next up is Torkoal, and you're going to have to use a fire type sandwich and do a mass reset outbreak in East Province Area 3. Unfortunately, when you do a fire type sandwich in this area, you will be getting the Carcoal line, so it's going to be really hard to get Torkoal, and they don't spawn in packs, so I highly do recommend getting the mass outbreak. Mareep and Numel can be best shiny hunted with a ground type sandwich just south of the fire shrine in the mountains over here. And if you're doing a picnic reset, you can do a reset right on this rock looking over this edge. You can see that you get 3 full family spawns, which is phenomenal, and hopefully you'll get this shiny after a couple of resets. Next is Bronzor, and the best place to hunt for Bronzor is going to be in South Province Area 3 at the ruins located on the north side of like the desert mountain area, and we're going to be using a steel type sandwich to isolate shiny hunt it. Now on this part of the area, you can actually set up a picnic and do a picnic reset, and the shiny is going to be very obvious with a green shiny, so good luck. Next is Bronzong, and we're heading over to the Graphs location with a psychic type sandwich at night. Very important at night. During the daytime, you'll get the Ralts family. And we're going to be right here, positioning towards the end of the graph, so looking at this big icicle spear here. And we're just going to be able to do a picnic reset and get 15 spawns fast and easy. Good luck on that hunt. Next is Axew and Fracture, and you can hunt these guys together with a dragon type sandwich. And we're going to be right over here, so pretty much right next to the passage. Once you're on top of the passage on the grass side, you'll be able to access this spot. As you can see, we're on the edge of a cliff and be able to do a picnic reset right here. And we have a cluster spawn over here and a cluster spawn over here. Sometimes you get a third one in some individuals. And another great spot for Axew is going to be like right over here for dragon type sandwich. We only dragon type that spawn, so you can run around and do the hunt as well. But if you want to be exactly where I'm at, you can do a picnic reset right over here, and you'll get about 15 spawns. And I will say that the shiny for Axew is pretty obvious because we got one right here, and it's going to be lighter color with that purple, and it's definitely going to be one of the best shinies that you can get in all of Scarlet and Violet. Mankey can be hunt just south of the Ice Wren Shrine here. You're going to want to knock out the Terra Jolteon that is here as well, and then you want to do a picnic reset with a fighting type sandwich, and you want to be right to the left of the wind turbine here on the cliff edge, and pretty much right around where you see this line in the rock, that curve line. You want to be around there and do a picnic reset and look over there, and you'll eventually get your shiny Mankey. Next up is Meditite and Medicham, and we're going to be using a psychic type sandwich in the cavern underneath the psychic type gym. So this is where I'm exactly located, underneath the map right here. And pretty much the location is it's going to have this outside area right over here. And the big tell is there's also a trainer at the end of this hallway too. And by using a psychic type sandwich, you can get 3 big family spawns of Meditite and Medicham. And as you can see, on the first reset here, I actually managed to get a shiny Meditite. So that is some great luck, and I hope that luck spreads to you too. Next is Riolu and Lucario, and I recommend using a fighting type sandwich in South Province Area 4. The area I pretty much walk around with a fighting type sandwich is about around here. and you're going to have Riolus walking around. Now, it's not an isolated hunt, as you will have clusters of Pawmi sometimes appear, but it's a very consistent hunt in general for Riolu. There is another area where you can get clusters of Riolu and Lucario in the game. However, it is not isolated, and they are considered the rare spawn, and that is going to be pretty much anywhere over here, where if you use a steel type sandwich or a fighting type sandwich, you can get those clusters too, but I am just not a big fan of that spot personally, but if you would like to try it there, go ahead. I just found this area to be much more consistent for Riolu. Next is Charcadet, and we're going to be going just south of the Ice Wren Shrine, and we're using a fire type sandwich. Now, we're going to be defeating the Terra Jolteon that spawns in this area, and be right to the left of this wind turbine. And we're going to be right to the edge on the cliff here, pretty much anywhere on the edge where you can make a picnic you're going to do. And with a fire type sandwich, you can actually very easily isolate hunt for Charcadet. You're going to get 15 spawns, and then you can picnic reset. You're probably going to have to zoom in with the camera, like by hitting down on the D-pad. Just so you can easier see the eyes, because that's how you can tell if it's shiny. And then you can evolve it into either Armarouge or Cerulean. Next is Barboach and Wishcash, and I do think going for an outbreak is probably going to be the best method for this one with a ground type sandwich. However, if you do want to hunt for it without an outbreak, there is an option at North Province Area 1 at the lake here by going to the Watchtower. Pretty much in the exact position where I am relatively to the Watchtower here. You can do a picnic reset, and you get about 2 to 3 clusters of Wishcash. However, it is not isolated, as you can get Wooper and Clodsires spawning as well. And of course, Golduck and Dratini will spawn in this lake whether you have a sandwich or not. So sometimes it's not a consistent. Before we had 2 clusters, now we have 0. So you may be better off just resetting for a mass outbreak, but I actually personally got mine by doing this method right. Next is Tadbulb and Bellibolt, and we're actually going to be starting at Paldea's highest peak with an electric type sandwich. From the highest peak, we're going to go north all the way down to the waterfall here, but we're going to go a little bit to the left and sliding down this mountain while we're going to be on this side right over here. And there's going to be spawns to the right, so we're going to be right over here. And you can actually see a bunch of tadpoles spawning on the other side. So you want to hit down on the D-pad and look over. And you'll be able to get 15 of these spawns. And you can actually reset this. You can't do a picnic reset, but you can run all the way back and then go forward. And then they'll continue spawning in. And there's other couple of ways to actually do this as well. If they don't spawn in immediately, you can try to climb up there. And see, now we got the spawns coming back again. So you can either do the run back method. If that doesn't work, just go up a little bit and you'll get new spawns coming in. Now for the Goomy line. If you are in Pokemon Scarlet with a dragon type sandwich, you can actually isolate Goomy in this swamp that is right next to Secluded Beach and South Province Area 5. It's going to be the only dragon type that spawns here. Now if you're Pokemon Violet, you will get Dreepies, so I would not recommend this spot. The other phenomenal spot to actually hunt this is of course the lake area with a dragon type sandwich. Now, the lake is going to have the Tatsugiri spawning as well, and you will be getting Swablu Altaria clusters. But when I was hunting for my 3 shiny Tatsugiris to get all forms, I managed to get 6 shiny Goomies as well. So pretty much anywhere around the lake on this bottom side, just running around, or on this middle island is going to be really good for Goomy and Slugoo hunting. Next up is Croagunk and Toxicroak, and we're going to Watchtower number 3 just south of it, actually directly south of it, with a fighting type sandwich. As you see, there's the Watchtower, and when you do a picnic reset about where I'm at, you can very easily get 3 cluster spawns all in one camera view, and the shines may be very obvious, and it's going to be very easy for you to shiny hunt the living family here. Next is Wattrel and Kilowattrel. I'm really just south of Porto right here, doing a special town reset method. So the town is right here, and we're just underneath this cliffside. And notice where exactly my positioning is here. And we can do a town reset by just walking backwards to the right here. And it says we're in Porto. And then you want to walk back onto this rock, and it says we're West Province Area 2. Now, with an electric type sandwich, we'll only be getting Wattrel and Kilowattrel spawns here. And this is honestly going to be the fastest way to shiny hunt for both of these, just because you can do a town reset for them, and it's going to be fast and easy and relatively quick. Next is Eevee, which is one of the hardest Pokemon to shiny hunt in the entire game. This is going to be a normal type outbreak, so I recommend getting normal type encounter power level 2 or 3. And you're going to be doing a outbreak reset until you get the EV at either the bug type city gym or at the normal type city gym right here. You want to be inside of these areas and then keep doing a mass outbreak reset. Now, even if you get the outbreak, sometimes the outbreak is broken, so keep that in mind. Some people have more luck at this city, which personally, I have a lot more luck at this city with better outbreaks than this one, but of course, that's going to be on a person-by-person basis based on what kind of luck you have. So good luck on getting this EV outbreak. The first one I got took me 2 hours, and then the second one I got took me 5 hours. So keep that in mind, that this is going to be a very long and hard hunt just to get it to spawn. For Vaporeon, you're going to want to have a water type outbreak, and I do recommend hanging out in the water, like the lake area is going to be a pretty good spot, or maybe even North Province Area 3 or North Province Area 1 near this little lake area as well. That's where I had the best time getting Vaporeon outbreak. Now, Jolteon luckily can be isolated shiny hunt, so no mass outbreak needed here. We're going to go just south of Watchtower number 2 at the lake, go across the river, and then go into this little area where there's going to be a cliff right behind us. Now, you want to put yourself with the cliff right behind you with an electric type sandwich. And as you can see, we have only Jolteon spawning, and the shiny is going to be very obvious. It's like a green shiny, so you don't need to zoom in or anything. And as long as you're pretty much right near like this cliff area, you can just picnic reset, get 15 spawns fast and easy, and hopefully you get this shiny quickly. Next up is Flareon, and you may want to mass outbreak this one. However, you can isolate it sort of in North Province Area 1 with a fire type sandwich. Pretty much this entire province, if you just run around, you'll be getting Scovillains, but also you'll be getting Flareon spawning as well. I would say it's about 75 to 25% ratio here on your spawn, so mostly going to be getting Scovillains. But if you want to run around and do this hunt, you can. You can potentially do resets as well, but the odds are going to be about the same. You'll probably be getting about 11 Scovillains per reset and then about 4 Flareons. So if you want to hunt for Flareon like this, you can. But I do think maybe going for a mass outbreak could overall be better for your time. Now, Espeon has to be hunted during the daytime with a Psychic type sandwich. Luckily, there's an easy reset spot for it. So you're going to go to the grass area right here. Just go just south, and then you can do a picnic reset for Espeon. As you can see, you get a full 15 spawns, and you know, you just want to be pretty much right up next to the wall here so you can see as many spawns as possible and do your picnic reset. And of course, if it does become nighttime at any point, no more Espeons will spawn. So it is best to do this at the beginning of your day, or you won't see any more Espeon. Next is Umbreon, and you're going to have to use a mass outbreak with a dark type sandwich to get this one. I recommend resetting over in the Psychic type area because underneath it there's a massive cave, and there's a good chance it will get an Umbreon mass outbreak underneath in that cave. Leafeon is another one you're going to have the mass outbreak for, and I recommend using a grass type sandwich and going to the normal type gym and standing out in the field around it. This is where I ended up getting my Leafeon outbreak, and it's a relatively easy one to get from my experience. Glaceon is another EV evolution you're going to use a mass outbreak for, and you're going to use an ice type sandwich to get that in the snowy area. Anywhere in the snowy area, you can get this thing to spawn. And Sylveon being the last one, of course, cannot be isolated shiny hunt, so you're going to use a fairy type sandwich, and I actually recommend doing it either at the Psychic type area, which is where I found mine, but you can also find them going north at North Province Area 3 in the Flower Field too. Now for Dunsparce and the Dunsparce, you're going to go to Research Area 4 in Area 0 with a normal type sandwich. And with a normal type sandwich, you're only going to get Dunsparce. Now, I do recommend walking around because you cannot do an actual reset in here. However, if you jump to the right and go onto these 2 crystals from Research Area 4, you're going to see there's one rock right here. With a normal type sandwich, if you go up, you're only going to get Dunsparces spawning on here, which is exactly what we want, which is exactly what the rest of the cave is going to do. However, if you run all the way back, you will be able to reset them. So this is the one way to actually reset spawns in Area 0, and you can get 2 segmented Dunsparce. or the Dunsparce. You cannot get a 3-segmented Dunsparce in the wild, unfortunately, and is it going to be a 1 out of 100 chance of your Dunsparce evolving into the 3-segment as well. Now for Deerling and Sawsbuck, I recommend going to the grass on the mountain with a normal type sandwich. Now the positioning I'm in is just right in front of this rock right here, and you can do a picnic reset to get 3 different spawn groups. And the Deerling shiny is going to be a pink flower, so it could be a little bit hard to see, and the Sawsbuck is going to be a lighter brown. Now, if you didn't know, you can transform your Deerling's form into all the other forms whenever you would like to. All you have to do is have the Deerling in your party or the Sawsbuck in your party. Go to a different area, the said area you want. So if you wanted a winter one, you go here. If you want a spring one, go to the spring area, summer, and so forth. Go to that one with the Deerling or Sawsbuck in your party. Then you would save your game, turn off your game, reload, and then they will change their form as well. So you don't need to actually get every single one living if you don't want to. Now for Girafarig and Farigiraf, which I think is easier just to hunt for Girafarig twice. We're going to go to Porto, and once again, we're going to be doing a town reset on the edge of Porto. As you can see, we're right on the edge. The town is right over here. We're on the cliffs. With a second type sandwich, we can just go back into West Province Area 2, and we're going to be able to get 15 Girafarig spawns. The shiny is going to be pretty obvious with the blue on it. And of course, once you get all 15 spawns, what we're going to do is we're going to just walk right back until it says Porto again, wait, and walk right back again, and we're going to be good to go on this shiny hunt. Now for Grimer and Muck, and the best way to get the shiny Grimer here is go to Lavencia. We're going right over here, a poison type sandwich doing a town reset. And as you can see, it's an isolated hunt. Walk into the town, despawn them, come back out, and you'll get about 10 to 15 Grimers here. Now, there are other spots where you could potentially hunt for Grimer by doing a town reset. The other place to do it is going to be over at Porto. So you could do it at Porto here on the Lighthouse side as well, but I just like Lavencia because I don't have to move the camera as much as at Porto. Now for Mastiff and Mabostiff, we're going to be doing a dark type sandwich during the day. Very important during the day. If you do it at night, you'll get Murkrow. We're going to be doing this at the normal type gym and doing a town reset on this side of the town. You'll be able to get clusters of them, which is going to be great. However, if you do see any Mabostiffs walking by itself, those are going to be Zoruas, and they will not show up shiny on the map, so keep that in mind. You also get some Bombardiers as well, but you get about 2 clusters each time, so I think this is going to be one of the best and fastest ways to hunt this. Now, of course, if you see a Mabostiff by itself, that is a Zorua, they won't appear shiny, so you would have to auto-battle them just to make sure if they're shiny or not. And now for Toxel, we're going to be South Province Area 4 with a Poison-type sandwich, and this is going to be an isolated shiny hunt where we're going to be walking around looking for Toxels. As you can see, we have a lot of them, and it's going to be a relatively easy shiny hunt. Next is Toxtricity in South Province Area 6. We're going to be using an electric type sandwich, and we're right outside this cave right over here, and we're going to be going into this cave here and going underground into the cavern, and we're going to climb up here, and then we're going to see a trainer at the other side, and that's when you know we're in the exact right spot, because this is where we can actually do a picnic reset exclusively for Toxtricity, and you can actually get both forms here. So this is gonna be a phenomenal spot for you to get a picnic reset going and hunt both for the amped form and the low key form. And for Diende, we're gonna be going to North Province Area 3 with an electric type sandwich, and we're gonna be right where I'm at on the map, right next to the Team Star place, in between these 2 little cliffside areas. And you can pretty much isolate shiny hunt for the hamster here. It's going to be very obvious. It's going to be a brown shiny, and you'll be able to get 15 spawns by picnic resetting right exactly where I am. So good luck on that shiny hunt. And there we have it, guys. That is how we shiny hunt numbers 100 to 200 in the Pokemon Scarlet and Violet Pokedex. And of course, guys, you like this type of video, please leave a like, subscribe if you're new. I really appreciate it, and consider supporting the channel by joining the Pan Fam today by hitting that join channel member button below. I'll catch you guys next time with part 3 of this shiny hunting adventure.